All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak, Wadash, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to all you Wakim out there who pushing His word with all truth and sincerity, and as well as to all you believers out there who believing on the gospel. And it's the brother Quara Abad from the GMS Houston camp. And real briefly, I want to go into a quick lesson, something that was just on my spirit. Really, I was meditating on it this morning, as I was headed into the job. But I ain't too much, have a title or even precepts, to do a lesson or whatnot. But I've still been meditating on it throughout the day. And I got a precept or two that I kind of want to bring out. And Lord willing, it brings some edification to this lesson. And I am short on time, so it ain't going to be long, still at the job. But I definitely want to get it in. But something I was meditating on is that, being in this truth, the Lord brought us into this ministry, and it's not just us. We have brothers around us, men who pushing around us. As Apostle Paul said, we have yoke fellows. Men are part of this fight with us. And, at times, whether it's a brother in your camp or a brother, who are part of the body, but he may stand in another state, eventually, over time in our walk, we'll hear about the good a brother do, apostle, elder, or brother may, big up somebody, give a brother praises, and we may hear good about a brother, you see? But the thing is, I want to touch on is when we hear negative things, or when a brother fall, when a brother slip, you see, make a mistake or go off. Right? Now, first, I'm going to speak on ourselves, our own selves. When the Lord put us through something and we fall, that's a clear opportunity for us, for the Lord to have us examine ourselves, man. You see? When we go off. But what I want to touch on this lesson is that when others slip up and fall, when others slip up and fall, man. Because, at times, other than just hearing good about a brother, look, a brother may be put on Front Street and everybody know about his mess up or fall. But the thing is, that's not an opportunity to, whoa, I'm glad it ain't me. You feel me? That's when brothers get called out, that's not an opportunity to look down on a brother. That's not an opportunity to, or big up yourself because you not doing a certain thing that brother may have gotten in trouble for. You can't look at that brother as if you better than him because he slipped and fell. But the thing I was thinking about is that when a brother or somebody within his truth do go off, do make a mistake, do get cussed out, they feelings hurt, don't rejoice over that. Not saying we rejoice over it, but not even to make yourself feel better. Because, I ain't doing it, he doing it, don't use another man's situation to make yourself feel better. Don't use another man's situation to put down that brother as if he can't bear the elect either. But more so, getting to the point I was thinking about, use a situation when another man fall or another man make a mistake and get in trouble. Use their situation as a lesson for ourselves. You see? Again, when a man go off, when a man slip and fall, that ain't to laugh at the man, look at him as he less than, or he ain't elect because he did this, which, again, we all go off. You see? Because you could look at a man because he did something, but the Lord might have you down the road do something way worse than that other man. Now what? So the point is that when somebody do go off, the apostles, elders, or brothers do lessons on a man, it ain't to, again, laugh at him or I knew someone right about him. Which, hey, if you want to, is cool, but more so use his situation, the scenario that the Lord put that man in, and apply it to your own self. Again, I'm speaking to myself, and apply it to ourselves for the purpose of that we don't get caught up in that same situation that he fell in, man. Using that as an example so we can not get ourselves into that situation, man. Now I was reading a book of Sirach earlier, and again, it's a spirit because I was thinking about this on the way into the job, but I was reading a book of Sirach on my break. I'm going to go ahead and get this verse. because it somewhat sounded like that. But it's Sirach chapter, and it shouldn't be long. This Sirach chapter 7 and 11. Right, Sirach chapter 7 and 11. And we're going to read the KJV first. It says, come on, man. Sirach 7 and 11. It says, laugh no man to scorn in the bitterness of his soul, for there is one which humbleth and exalteth, right? So that's the KJV. Let's read a couple different translations. Sirach 7 and 11. Let's read the GNT. It says, don't laugh at someone who has been humiliated. It is the Lord who humbles a person, but the Lord also raises him up again. So starting with this lesson is that when a man do go through his humiliation period, which we all gonna have it, the Lord gonna humble each and every one of us. So again, that's something to remember. That when a man going through something, look, hey, that's when mercy should be shown. Now, granted, don't just say if just any and every F up, is all good, brother. You got 30 kinds left, you see, and 30 Salakias left, No, hey, but until the Lord show otherwise, then hey, we got to show that man mercy too. Because again, we have to consider that it's just his time to go through his trial and tribulation. His name was called, just like Job's name was called. Hast thou considered my servant Job? And it was time for Job to go through what he had to go through, right? When a man go through something, it was just that his name was called in the heavens. You see? And we can't forget that, again, our name will be called too. We can't forget our name will be called too. So therefore, when our name get called, we go through our trials and tribulations. What you think we'll be looking for? A comfort from a brother, advice from a brother trying to pick you up. Not no man looking down on you, or talking shit and, Now, granted, it is what it is, but let's read this again. However man won't go about it, I'm just saying use whatever a person go through as a lesson for your own walk, for our own walk. So we can, Lord willing, stay out of that predicament that another probably got himself in. Or even learn from it. But don't just see a man and laugh, oh, I knew he wasn't shit, and just let it be. Because again, we can't forget the Lord going to test us too. Then what? Sirach 7 and 11. It says, right, I'll read the GNT again. It says, and I'll move on. Don't laugh at someone who has been humiliated. It is the Lord who humbles a person, but the Lord raises him up again. And look, that'll be another thing. What if a situation come and the man was at a lower state, and the brother seeing you went now for him, he was laughing on the scorn, making the situation worse. Then what's going to happen when the Lord raised that man back up? And he leveled back up in the spirit. You see? Then what a laughing go? Then I knew Jake went right. Then what if the man level up, the Lord, get him back in the right spirit? You see, then what? Salaki, brother, I ain't mean it like that. No, man, You see? Like it said in, Sirach, that we have to be continually with godly men who know to keep the law, who mind according to our mind. And when we go off and start tripping, it said that brother going to be there with us. Not as soon as we go off, I knew he ain't have it. You see? Because remember, we'll get put in a like situation to where we'll hope others don't look at us in the same way. We'll hope others show us mercy, man. And understand the situation. Let me get another one. This is what that is. I'm thinking of one. How Paul said, consider yourself. So like I'm kind of, Galatians 6. Let's get this, Galatians 6 and 1. And this is impromptu. This is Galatians 6 and 1. Check this out. We're going to read the KJV first. It says, brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, so if a brother go off and brother start tripping, right, he get called out, he get rebuked. It says, brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual, restore such and one in the spirit of meekness. And look, that's the first start of it. When a brother do go off, it ain't just to make the situation worse and make the brother feel like most shit. You see, it said restore him in the spirit of meekness. Now again, each situation calls for a different response to the rebuke. A brother may come nice and compassionate, and then you may have a brother, depending on the situation, may come, a little mad. He might cuss you out. You see, but again, that's up to the Lord. We should just take whatever that mistake was that brother may went through, take that and try to the best of our ability. Because again, we don't know what we're going to do in this world. But take what a person did. Because look, we can always take good things from somebody, and put that in our arsenal. But what about the bad, right? Use a brother situation again. We ain't examining ourselves, ain't just when we go through stuff. No. Use that examination period to examine ourselves for other people F-ups, for other people's situations, so we can not have to even go down that same road, But let's read this real quick. This is Galatians 6:1. It says, brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual, restore such and one in the spirit of meekness. This why? It says, considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted. That's why. When a brother mess up, it ain't just to put the brother down even more. You see? Tell her, you see, make a brother, feel like, no, it ain't for that. Right now, again, a rebuke come however it's gonna come. You see? Feelings gonna get hurt whether a rebuke is nice or is so-called mean. The point is, we have to remember when somebody in a situation, not look at that man as he less than because he slipped up, but remember ourselves that we could be put in the same situation. And that's a humbling thing, man. That the Lord could put us in the same situation, or he could put us and have us do something worse than what another person did, man. But again, it's examining ourselves, not just when we F up, but when others F up. Use their situation as well as a learning period for our own walk, man. So we can stay out of whatever they did and not do whatever they did. Let's read this in the NLT. It says, dear brothers and sisters, Galatians 6:1, if another believer is overcome by some sin, you who are godly should gently and humbly help that person back onto the right path. And be careful not to fall into the same temptation yourself. That's the point. When we see others get cussed out, rebuke, it ain't to, again, I'm keep saying it because it's like I'm using probably the same words. It's an impromptu. I'm just kind of getting thoughts off, but use other people mess ups, falls, like I said, a just man falls 7 times. Use that as examples on what not to do. You see? Now, so therefore in our walk, we don't have to go down that same path. And then we don't have to hear, well, remember that brother did that a couple months ago and you doing the same shit. We ain't have to hear that. You see? And look, the Lord gonna put each brother through different scenarios, or he gonna put men through the same scenarios. But something good gonna come out of each of them, man. It may be a new lesson learned. You see? The Lord may have had one older brother go through something and you go through it again. And you get his advice, but you learn a new lesson through it for a newer believer under you. So you could teach him something else other than what the elder brother taught you. You see? Or add on to it, should I say. But again, use other people, what they do when they get highlighted by the body, and really pray to the Lord that he allow us not to do these things, some of those same things. Because we can say, well, I ain't going to do that. We don't know what we're going to do. You see, a man don't know what he gonna do, because I bet if for brothers who did mess up or who do mess up, you see, which we all mess up, you see, I guarantee if you ask a man, you want to do that, he'll say no, because it ain't up to us. You see, it ain't up to us. Let me wind it down. Let's read that again. Galatians 6:1. In the NLT, it says, dear brothers and sisters, if another believer is overcome by some sin, you who are godly should gently and humbly help that person back onto the right path, and be careful not to fall into the same temptation yourself. So when another brother fall into his temptation, use his situation, what he did, and make sure we don't do it. Or even when a brother doing something good, yeah, we can take what he doing and add it to our arsenal. But the things that may not be convenient, we pray to the Lord, like it's saying Sirach, that he, above all this, pray to the Most High that he got our way in truth, man. You know? Just because a man go off don't mean he a 2/3, he through. You see, oh, I always knew he was strong, you know? Nah, use that for an example to make sure we don't be through. You see? Make sure a brother don't say, oh, I knew he ain't have it. Yeah, so apply that right now in our walk. You see, or before it's too late. Because again, like Apostle Paul just said, because we could be put in the same exact temptation, you know? And how one treat a man in his fall, the Lord could bring that right back around to you. You see? The Lord can have a man get up from his fall, but what if you go through the same thing, laughing at a man, you know, and you don't ever get up from that fall? Then what? Right, so the mindset is, look, when a brother fall, one, be there for him. Again, depending on the situation. We ain't talking about flat out niggas now. You see, we ain't talking about just straight up, you know, just wickedness. No, we talking about, you know, mistakes brothers gonna make in the truth, which is gonna happen. We all gonna make mistakes till we get out of here, man. And we gonna want mercy showing us just like we should show mercy to others. But let me get this last precept. But it says, and be careful not to fall into the same temptation. But I'm gonna end it with this. See, and that's the point though, falling into the same temptation, man. So again, not just using our walk or our mess ups as an examination period, but using other brothers' mess ups as an examination for our own selves, man. But let me get this in the end of this. 1 Corinthians chapter 9 and verse. Let me see, I might start at 24. I gotta get back in. It's 1 Corinthians chapter 9. Come on, man. I'll start at 25. Fuck it. 1 Corinthians 9 and 25. Let's read the NLT. It says, all athletes are disciplined in their training. They do it to win a prize that will fade away, but we do it for an eternal prize. So Paul was going into people racing. He said, look, they race, you know, they discipline throughout their training so that when the real race comes, they could win a prize. But it's a carnal prize, you know, a medal or a crown, right? It says, but we run in this race, in this ministry, to do this work, serve the Lord for an eternal prize. But the thing Paul about to go into is that just like athletes, they have to be disciplined in their training in order to be successful and win the prize. He will say the same thing about us in our walk. We have to be disciplined the same way in our training. And what's the training? Day-to-day life before the actual race, when our hair break loose, when these things we learned will have to be put on display. So let's read that again in the point of verse 26, I think. It says, 1 Corinthians 9 and 25, NLT, all athletes are disciplined in their training. They do it to win a prize that will fade away, but we do it for an eternal prize. It says, so run with purpose in every step. Everything we do in this truth, to the best of our ability, Lord willing, to be on point, calculated, in other words. I know the Apostle Gabal, he always often liken his truth unto walking on a tightrope. Every step needs to be calculated. Not just taking steps or like a fighter in a boxing match, you just swinging and losing stamina. It says, so run with a purpose in every step. I am not just shadow boxing, right? Wasting energy. This the point though. It says, I discipline my body like an athlete, training it to do what it should. Otherwise, I fear that after preaching to others, I myself might be disqualified. You see, after teaching to others, Paul said, look, he working as hard as he can to be disciplined in his walk so that after teaching to others, he can be the elect himself instead of him not examining himself, him just doing whatever, or, him looking at other men, you see, and not taking their situations and apply it to his own life. So therefore, he preaching but not living the gospel. And guess what? As he preaching, he eventually gonna be a castaway. So that's why he's saying, look, we have to be disciplined, man. Make sure every step count, so that when we preach to others, at the end of the day, after preaching to others, we don't get cast out. You see, cast out and labeled as a 2/3, and become living back into this world, man. Being indulged back into this world. Let's read that again. Let's read the KJV. It says, but I keep under my body and bring it into subjection, lest that by any means, when I have preached to others, I myself should be a castaway. You see? So look, not just learning from my mistakes, but learning from others' mistakes, man. Taking another brother fall and using that to better ourselves. You see? But I'm going to end it right there. Like I said, it was just some of my spirit. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Chakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to all you Akim out there who pushing this word with truth and sincerity, and as well as to all you believers out there who believe in the gospel. Keep fighting, keep pushing. We're almost out of here. And with that, shalom.